7 years ago, I packed up my life in Washington, D.C., and moved to the bustling heart of New York City. It wasn't just a change of scenery, it was an attempt to rewrite my story, to find myself again after a period of intense public scrutiny and personal turmoil. Many of you might remember the headlines. A White House scandal, my abusive marriage thrust into the spotlight. Suddenly, my private pain became public property. Every news channel, every newspaper seemed to be dissecting me, my life, and my choices. The weight of that attention was suffocating. In those early days in New York, I often found myself lost. The city's endless nights became both an escape and a trap, and I fell back into old patterns. Drinking too much, partying with drugs, surrounding myself with people who just didn't have my best interests at heart. At the time, I wasn't even aware of how much I was avoiding, but it was definitely easier to numb than to face it head on. New York, for all its chaos, also offered salvation. Slowly, almost imperceptibly at first, I began to rediscover pieces of myself that I thought were lost forever. I remember the first time I stepped onto the small stage in the Lower East Side. My hands were shaking, I gripped the microphone, but as soon as I started to sing, something inside me shifted. It was like coming home to a place I'd forgotten existed. New friendships blossomed, real, authentic connections with people who saw me for who I was, not for who I was pretending to be, or who I felt I had to be accepted. Artists, writers, musicians, entrepreneurs, each one bringing a unique perspective to my life, challenging me to grow and to think differently. I rediscovered my love for travel, too. Each new place I visited helped me shed another layer of the person I'd been, revealing more of the person I was becoming. Whether it was the sun-soaked beaches or winding streets, I found pieces of myself scattered across the globe. Then, just as I felt I was finding my footing, the world turned upside down. The pandemic hit, and suddenly we were all navigating a new reality. In a strange way, the shared global experience helped put my own troubles into perspective. We were all in this together, all trying to find our way through unprecedented times. As we emerged from the worst of COVID, I again found new energy in the excitement of a reinvigorated New York. I felt grounded, purposeful. But life, as I've learned, rarely follows the script we write for it. Being laid off came out of nowhere. I had plans and was finally in a place where I felt stable and confident. It felt like the rug had been pulled out from underneath me. But if there's one thing my life's journey has taught me, it is resilience. I bounced back, landing a new job that ignited my passion and challenged me in ways that were exciting and optimistic. I was hitting my stride, feeling again like maybe I was finally where I was meant to be. Then my epilepsy, a condition I've managed for years, decided to remind me of its presence. A severe flare-up left me unable to work and homebound for over 3 months. It was a humbling experience, a stark reminder of the importance of community and family of choice, and the fragility of the life that we build for ourselves. 3 months of isolation and recovery taught me patience. They forced me to slow down, to listen to my body, to prioritize my health in a way I really never had before, and it wasn't easy, but it was necessary. So returning to work felt like a triumph. I was ready to dive back in and make up for lost time, but life, ever predictable, had other plans. Another layoff. But this time, instead of immediately jumping back into the rat race, I decided to listen to the universe. Maybe this wasn't for me after all. Maybe it was time for a real break, a chance to reassess, realign. So I set off. Belize, with its crystal clear waters and laid back vibe, taught me to slow down. Italy, with its rich history and mouth-watering cuisine, reignited my zest for life. And Ireland, with its rolling green hills and rich cultural identity, helped me reconnect with my own story. But before I could truly move forward, I needed to close the chapter on my past. Returning to DC to renovate and sell my condo was more than just a real estate transaction. It was a symbolic act of letting go, of making peace with the person I used to be. And now, here I am, back in New York, after more than 6 months away. The city feels both familiar and new, much like I do. I'm not the same person who arrived here 7 years ago, wide-eyed and wounded. I'm stronger now, more self-aware, more at peace with the unpredictability of life. As I walk these streets again, I'm filled with a sense of possibility. I don't know exactly what's next, and for the first time in a long time, that's okay. This journey from DC to New York, through scandals and healing, across continents and through personal battles, has taught me so much. About resilience, yes, but also about the importance of authenticity, of facing our demons, of allowing ourselves to evolve. I've learned that healing is not linear. Success is not always measured by job titles, bank accounts, or public accolades. And true friendship can be a lifeline in the darkest of times. And sometimes the bravest thing that we can do is start over, to reimagine our lives in the face of adversity. As I look out over the city that has been both my battleground and my sanctuary, I'm filled with gratitude for the lessons, even the painful ones, for the friends who've become family, and for the strength I always knew I had. I don't know what the next 7 years will bring, but I do know this. I'm ready for it. Ready to keep growing, keep challenging myself, keep embracing the beautiful unpredictability of life. To anyone out there who's in the midst of their own struggle, who feels lost or overwhelmed, I want you to know it gets better. Not always quickly, and not always in the ways we expect. But if we stay open to the journey, if we keep moving forward, even when it's hard or when we make mistakes, we can surprise ourselves with our own resilience. As I'm moving forward, I'm excited to share that this video is really just the beginning. I hope to take a new journey, one of intentional living, mindful minimalism. I hope you'll join me as I evaluate, organize, and downsize my life, creating a more intentional lifestyle. We'll tackle everything from decluttering emotional baggage to simplifying physical spaces. And together we'll explore how less truly can be more, and how creating space in our lives can open up new possibilities. If you're ready to join me on this chapter, please, I hope that you'll subscribe and hit the notification bell. And I hope you'll find inspiration as I stumble my way through life and share what I'm learning along the way. Here's to new beginnings, to second chances, and to the beautiful, messy, unpredictable journey of life. Thank you for listening to my story, and I can't wait to share this next adventure with you all. Remember, your next chapter is waiting to be written. What will your story be?